Hey guys, just a quick video I wanted to post up. I wanted to let y'all know about any of y'all thinking about the Motorola GP68. Um, this is a warning video against it. Um, as you can see here, I have experience with a lot of Motorola's line of radios. I just grabbed some radios out of my radio room real quick. I have a Motorola Sabre VHF. I got to talk about, which is the low tier consumer grade Motorola, geared towards the hunter, the FRS user. I have a Motorola Spirit line, which is the same family as that. I have an old school Radius P200 in pretty clean condition. Um, so, long story short, I figured I would get online, saved a few coins, and I figured, what the heck, I'd grab one of these GP68s. I'm always on eBay. I'm a radio geek, and I'm always on eBay, and I'm always looking, for different radios, to add to my collection, what have you. Um, and I keep on seeing these GP68s pop up online. So I figured, okay, I sold some of my other equipment. I've had experience with the HT1000s, the MT 2000s. I've had experience with the MTXs, the STXs. I have programming capabilities for a lot of those radios. I've had experience with the Max Track, all on the hobbyist end. Um, so I figured, what the heck? I'll grab me a UHF Motorola GP68 from overseas. It's from China, I know, but I fell for it. So I just wanted to give you all a heads up. I figured, what the heck? I figured, a nice little Motorola HT. It looks like it's from the Motorola uh, uh, F GMRS or the Spirit line or whatever you want, SP10 line or whatever, judging by the knobs on the pictures and stuff like that. And you look at the form factor and the belt clips and stuff like that. And I've been aware about the GP68 for quite a while, but I'm a stickler and I like my XTSs and my Sabres and my Astros. So my line of thinking was a nice little UHF handheld, a throwaway handheld. I can holler at the kids on the FRS. Um, Here down in Houston, I can listen to the last little bit that we have of UHF conventional for City of Houston, HPD, HFD, so on. Um, what can I lose? You know what I'm saying? Even when everything goes narrowband, I could probably still use it for ham. I could use it for whatever. We won't get into that, but what the heck, man? A nice little GP series radio. Frequency agile. I'll be able to FPP it, so to speak. Well, I received it today. Um, Saved up a few bucks, and I figured, okay, so I've been waiting for it to come in the mail. Kind of excited. Not as excited as I was when my XTSs or any of that stuff showed up. But, okay, so here we go. I'll cut straight to the point. This is a knockoff. I'm not gonna lie to you. I figured it from what I was led to believe, it was a factory reject. Well, it's more like a factory knockoff, is what it is. It arrived here in this Motorola box. It has the old school, Motorola blue and white printing. So I'm thinking, okay, that looks familiar. I'm only 30 years old, but I've been a radio geek for many years. I remember these boxes, so I'm thinking, okay, they send their older models and their second hands or what have you, overseas. Let them deal with it, and the U.S. market gets the newest and the best and the brightest. Well, it doesn't seem to be it. I didn't think I'd be caught by this, but I was. So beware. As soon as I open a box, you get this. I don't know. There's a panda bear on here of some sort of Asian symbol or something. I don't even want to put the disc in my computer. I'm paranoid about viruses. I don't know what the heck that is. I'm guessing there's probably some sort of owner's manual or user's manual or something on there. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not inserting it in my computer. I'm not going to jack with it. Other than that, like I said, it looked like a legit Motorola box. It looks pretty legit to me. I remember my battery packs and so on and so forth, my speaker mics and stuff coming in boxes like that. Whatever. Moving on. I opened up the radio, and like a jackass, I'd actually anticipated a radio showing up, and I bought a knockoff UHF antenna. And don't ask me why I did all this. I've been through this, and I've spent thousands of dollars on radios, and I fell for this, and I figured, as soon as I opened the box, I seen the handheld unit laying in there, and at first glance, you're like, okay, that looks like a GP series, and I'll compare it to my Spirit. You look at the knobs, okay, so you think that's in the Spirit or the Talk About family, like my other UHF here. You see the knobs, and you see the belt clip with the little spring clip, and you see the famous Motorola, the stylized logo, and you see the italicized font. So, and there's even a label here with a TNAPA number, and you got your serial numbers and all that stuff. I personally don't know 100% if it's fake. I'm inclined to think that it is. Motorola's put out some iffy stuff, throughout the years. But immediately, as soon as I opened the box, my suspicions were pretty high. First of all, I don't know if you can see this. Here, I'll try and point at it. I've got my camera on a tripod. But you have your positive battery terminal here, and there's a screw. Just it's not even stainless. Just a screw just through the body of the radio, and that's for the negative. That's for the ground of the battery, the ground side of the battery, the negative side of the battery. It was at that point, once I opened up the radio, I knew I was had. In fact, I called my buddy over here. He knows about my radio addictions and my hobby and stuff. And I showed it to him, and he said, yeah, I'm not even into radios, and I know that's fake. The tactile feel, which I really can't translate into, across video, the tactile feeling of the buttons and the knobs, the rotary knob here and the volume button. You look at it and you think it's part of the Spirit line, and it's not even close. It's not even close. The battery is either a really good fake or a really good copy, a knockoff, or it really is truly like a refurbished Motorola battery. I put it on, and like I said, you can see a screw. I mean, it's literally just a little screw going through the bottom of the battery. There's no spring contacts. There's no weatherproofing. There's no rubber grommet or anything around the negative side of the battery. So I put the battery on and slid it on, and I figured, okay, maybe not all is lost. If you look at the textures between the battery and the radio, you'll see that they're two totally different textures, which is your first clue that it's probably a knockoff. The battery does not even come close to lining up. It's very close, and it's bare minimum what it needs to take contact. Now I'm going to turn on the light by pressing the yellow button. So hopefully, let me turn off my lamp here. Hopefully you can see the yellow button, or hopefully you can see the backlight. When I go to squeeze this radio, you would see, let me turn on the light again. Let me squeeze this radio as if I were grabbing it off my belt or talking on it or actually needing it for something. Let me grip it. Hopefully you can see that. The contact system that they have in this thing, in this knockoff Chinese, whatever you want to call it, is so poorly constructed that when you grip the radio turns off. It loses contact on the battery contacts. I've dealt with a lot of used equipment. I've dealt with I've bought plenty of items from overseas, and I've never dealt with anything that was this heinous, honestly. And that's the reason why I'm taking the time on a Monday afternoon to sit here and tell y'all about this, because I'd like to warn, the fellow radio geeks that don't even waste your time. You'd be better off buying one of those Pujing or Puxing or whatever, or Wuzong or Wuxing or whatever, those Chinese, fake Kenwood, Yaesu, whatever. If you really want to hear it that bad, don't waste your time. Some other clues here is I noticed that the labeling here is just it's not. They got it close. They got it close. I gotta hand it to them, but it's just not there. It's just not there, brother. You'll see a lot of the lifting here of the clear panel. In the few minutes that I've had it, you know, I put my antenna on. The antenna does not screw in. It's just a standard MX connector like any of these other radios have. We're all familiar with them. MX connectors. You have MX connectors and you have MX connectors with the center pin. It's just I had to work to get it threaded, and it finally started working. Right now, I have punched in off the VFO and the keypad. I just have punched in just basic UHF, City of Houston, HPD frequencies. I'm up here in Conroe on my HT1000 or my MT2000 or even my ICOM or my Yaesu. Yeah, that stuff was dang near full quieting. This, it's staticky. I'm getting all kinds of birdies. There's no menu with it. I'm just going to tell y'all right now, looking at the mic connector, the speaker mic connector, audio connector, whatever you want to call it. This is not Motorola. I'm going to go out there and I'm just going to say it flat out. This is not Motorola. You know, normally I'm not one to. I buy their used products. Normally I'm not one to stick up for them per se, but this is out of control. This is bad. The charger, the drop-in charger. I mean, that's all it took was one look. As soon as I open the box, you can see it right there. That looks like no other Motorola charger that I've ever seen. It may be. I'm not going to sit here and say that you know that this is not what they use, or this is not what the Motorola distribution in Asia is. I would hope not. I wouldn't put my name on this. I can't figure out the menu. You grip it and it dies. I don't know if you can even see the screen with the glare of the light. You grab it, it dies. It's you see, I'm not doing anything. Let me hold it this way. I'm just holding it loosely and then I'm gonna squeeze, and it dies. It loses contact. The sound is not Motorola. I'm familiar, like I said, I'm familiar with Motorola sound. I've had Spectras, Max Tracks. This is not Motorola sound. I'm sorry. I noticed that the M wasn't stylized. The printing is it's just off. Just take my word on it. If you want to get something for UHF, if you want a nice little handheld, you need to steer yourself towards the Yaesus, the ICOMs, unless you want to, the market is good right now on some HT1000s, on MT2000s. There's plenty of other options. Do not get taken about this. I'm not really upset because it's only about $70 that I spent on this. No big deal. I've spent $70 on battery packs. But if you are interested in this, especially for your volunteer firemen and of that sort, do not rely on this. You're not going to get anything out of this. It's not going to be mission critical. So, in fact, it got to the point to where after I started inspecting this, I just flat out, I'm giving this to my neighbor so he can listen to our our local school buses. Our children are in the school district, and their frequency happens to be UHF. So I told him that he can have it and he can keep it by his on his nightstand, and he can monitor the local school buses in case something happens or if the buses are running late. That's the best I can do. I spent $70 on this, and I am giving it to my neighbor. No strings attached. So it's something to think about. If you guys are looking at these, and there may be real quote-unquote GP68s out there. I don't know. I've never had experience with it. I've seen a lot of people talking about it online, and I've seen a lot of people have it for sale online. So I thought I'd give it a shot. $70. What the heck? Take my word for it. As someone who's used, on a hobbyist level, and even someone on a professional level, as using Motorola radios, it's not what you think. It is not what you think. Don't waste your money. I would recommend a puxing before you bought one of these. Um, as far as what I hold in my hand, this is not Motorola. So you guys think about it. It's just some food for thought. Y'all let me know what you think, and let me know if you had good experiences with yours. But as far as what I'm holding in my hand right now, this is, I mean, you can see the gap. This is not Motorola. So y'all think about it, and I appreciate it. Bye.